Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to my craft room. Glenda Mollet here, and I'm in my craft room stamping today, and we're going to create a card using the Good Morning Magnolia bundle. So it's the Good Morning Magnolia stamp set and the coordinating Magnolia memory dies. So this is a card that I found by Eva Dobilas, I think is how you pronounce her name. Last night when I was perusing Pinterest trying to get inspired for today's video, fun sharing session, whatever you want to call it. And I found this one by her and I thought it's absolutely gorgeous. Now, I'm not going to show you a picture of it before we start. We'll show you the end. And hopefully I'll have some people joining us here momentarily and we can get started. I just want to wait until there's a few people on. Oh, good morning, Carol. Friendship. Let me see if I can see my comments on here. Friendship, Wisconsin. Oh, how's it going in Friendship, Wisconsin? Is it warm? Is it cold? I want to do some crafting along with you guys again today, so I'm just kind of hanging out to see if a couple of more people show up. Maybe I should pull up a map of the United States so it can tell me where Wisconsin is. Oh, there we are. So you're over by the Great Lakes. I got it. My apologies for not knowing that. Okay. Well, hopefully more people will join us as we go along. I've been doing this every day this week, and I think next week I'm just going to, oh, cloudy and 59. Oh, chilly willy. Well, not really too chilly. We dipped down below freezing last night, so it was a little cold when I woke up, but I don't have to walk outside to work. I just have to walk down the other end of my house. Okay, so I have a piece of soft suede that's 8.5 by 5.5. And we're going to score it in half at 4 1/4 with my scoring tool. And then we'll fold it and crease it with our bone folder. Now, Eva, the creator of this card, kindly put a step-by-step instructions on the internet on how to make this card and the sizes to use. So I will post it. I will post it on in the comments, a link to her blog post. So this is the Good Morning Magnolia stamp set. It's a double stamp set, but I always take my stamp sets and stick them in the same storage box because then it looks like I have less stamp sets than I do. And this is the Magnolia memory dies, and we're going to be using them as well. We're also going to use the stitch nested label dies, and I think it's this one and this one, but I didn't pull them out because it depends on what sentiment we use. What size we use. So I'll put those to the side. We're also using the layered leaves embossing folder. Good morning, Sharon. Okay, so this is the base. We're using soft suede, very vanilla. 2 pieces, 5 1/4 by 4, one for the inside, one for the outside. Then we need a piece, this is 2 by 5 1/4, and that's Rococo Rose. a piece of soft suede to do behind the sentiment, some very vanilla to stamp the 3 buds on that we're going to use, a piece for the sentiment, and we're going to cut out some of the leaves out of Pear Pizzazz. So those are the pieces we're using. So I was playing because she stamped 3 of the buds, which is this image, and then watercolored them and put them on the front of the card. So what Eva suggested was soft suede ink with an aqua painter. And I didn't like how it bled so much. And she warns you that it will bleed. So I thought, well, what if I heat set it first? And it works a little bit better. You don't get quite as much bleeding as I did with the first one. But then I thought, well, let's see what it looks like in Memento ink. So this one I did with Memento ink and an aqua painter, and it doesn't bleed anywhere near. There's a little tiny bit, but not as much. Then I stamped it again and heat set it, and then I used rubbing alcohol instead of an aqua painter. Well, it's an aqua painter, but it has rubbing alcohol in it instead of water. And I really liked that. That was my favorite. So then I went back to soft suede, stamped it in soft suede, and then used the aqua painter with rubbing alcohol in it. And this is 70% rubbing alcohol. So my preference is number 5, soft suede rubbing alcohol in an aqua painter. What do you guys think? Do you like the watercoloring? And do you like soft suede or Memento? Watercoloring versus rubbing alcohol. And then this is Memento versus soft suede. I think the soft suede is a little bit softer. So while I'm working on this, give me an idea of what your favorite one would be. Well, I'll leave them sitting out here. Okay, step 1, according to Eva, is to take a 5 1/4 by 4 inch piece of very vanilla cardstock, and we're going to stamp the large Magnolia image. I'm just trying to make room here because this is a big stamp. The card goes this way, and we're going to stamp it once here and then turn and put it once there. So I need a piece of dirty paper. Just slide it under here so it holds it in place. All right. So when you have a stamp that's this big, put it down on the table and use the pad on top of it. It's just a lot easier, and you don't get as much ink going around the edges and giving you that ghosting effect. But make sure you get good inkage. And we're going to do down in this corner. And I want the more flower than leaf to show. Make sure I have it pointed. I made sure that the stem was pointed up. And you don't have to worry about the mess that's going to be created in the middle because we're going to be covering that up, I hope. Okay, there's one. When the last time I re-inked my soft suede, it re-inked kind of funny, and I'm getting darker spots and lighter spots from the ink pad, but I think that looks really cool, so that's why I didn't re-ink it. So if you see, there's lighter areas and there's darker areas. I like that. It's kind of vintagey. Come on. Cooperate. There we are. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing up in that corner. Kind of like that. Oh, good morning, Lena. Number 5. I agree with you, Carol. That's my favorite. And I think, unless I get more votes for the other one, I think that's... Lena, we're just trying to decide which method I'm going to use to color the buds that go on this card. So number 1 is soft suede ink colored with an aqua pen with water in it. Number 2 was soft suede ink, aqua pen with water in it, but I heat set the image first. There's not quite as much bleeding. Number 3 is Memento ink with an aqua painter with water in it. Number 4 is Memento ink with rubbing alcohol. And then I went back to soft suede with rubbing alcohol in an aqua painter. And that's my favorite one. So we're just trying to decide how I'm going to deal with the buds when it comes time to put the buds on. Okay, so nothing else happens to this. It can go straight onto your card base now. Let's get my tear and tape on that. Now, you could probably put twine or something on this card, but when you see it, you will see that it... Oh, Lisa Bartnick, well, welcome. Welcome. Sharon, yes, and Lisa. And Lena all say number 5. I agree, ladies. I agree. All right, we'll put this... Lisa, where do you come from? And welcome. I think this is your first time. Well, it's your first time commenting. I'm glad you found me. Where do you live? I know Lena lives on Vancouver Island with me, and so does Sharon. Oh, Carmen's here too, who also lives where I live. Yes, number 5, I agree. Oh, okay. My rabbit ears are not working this morning. That was 2 of them I ripped. My hubby yesterday, he said he's feeling housebound because he usually goes out almost every day. Goes coffee with the guys or goes to Canadian Tire. And of course now he can't do any of that. He said, I'm going out. I said, all right, where are you going? I'm going to go make myself a coffee, sit in my truck down. We have a place called Harbor Key, which is right down by the water. He said, I'm going to sit at Harbor Key. So he did. And when he came back, lo and behold, he ran into Sharon's husband. And they both sat down at Harbor Key for a while. Oh, these men, they're so funny. All right, so there's the base done. I'm just going to put that to the side for the moment. The next step is to take this piece of Rococo Rose. Oh, Windsor, Ontario. The far, almost at the other end of Canada. Okay, so layered leaves embossing folder. Going to run it through my die cutting machine. My poor old die cutting machine. Holy man, it's getting worn out. I'm using my original one that I bought way back. The minute Stampin' Up started carrying them, I bought this one. Let me see the date on the bottom. 2008. So it's 12 years old. You can imagine how much has gone through that die cutting machine since I got it. it's wiggling and squalling and carrying on all over the place. And I said to hubby the other day, do you think this thing's going to last till June till I can get a new one? But it's probably got to do with bearings and stuff that are on the inside, and he said not to worry because he can rebuild it. I said, no, don't rebuild it. I want a new one. Okay, so I'm taking Whisper White ink. And what Eva did... Oh, there's Valerie. So what Eva did was she did ink pad direct to the Rococo Rose. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try it. If I don't like it, then I'll get a sponge out and we'll do another piece. But I'm thinking from the way it looks is she just took it and very lightly dragged it across like this. And only in one direction so that the ink kind of slides in one direction. I don't want to do it a lot of it. I want it to be subtle. And you could go this way because you've still got it going in the same direction. But I wouldn't do this because I don't know, it might look kind of funny, but I like that. Look at that. What a cool technique. I know. Wow. Just that little bit of white ink on there. If you guys don't have this Whisper White ink pad, you need it. You need that in your craft room with you because look what it can do. You can emboss with it, especially if you're embossing on black. If you use Whisper White ink and then white embossing powder, it gets really white. Okay, it does take a while for it to dry, so I don't want to stick my finger in there. You can heat set it though, and it will work. But I don't want to get up and heat set it. Okay, so it goes there, but I don't want it to go right down to the bottom. Maybe I should have done this part before I put the ink on. I want to find, we're going to be using the stitched nested layer dies to do the sentiment, and I thought it would be kind of cool to do the bottom V of this as well. So I need one that, see, that one's too narrow because I don't want the stitching to happen. I just want to cut the bottom. That's better. Okay, let me get my magnetic platform out here. This is something new. I've never tried this before either. So figure out which way you want it up. Which way up? That way? That way? That way, I think. Because then I'm saving that piece. I'm not going to cut that piece off. Well, I might end up cutting that piece off. Because I don't know how much this is going to cut off. I don't want it to go... Where's my base? There it is. I don't want it to go right down to the bottom. How far down do we want it to go? Like maybe there. Would that be cut off like that? Yes. So I need to cut off 1/2 inch. So I'm going to do that before I start because I want to save this. I really like how that has worked out up there. So I'm just going to cut off 1/2 inch. Hang on. I'll be right back. There we are. Now the magnetic platform. Let's see. I guess we should check this. Maybe we need it a bit higher. You know, I don't think I'm going to be able to save that thing. Maybe we'll cut off another 1/2 inch. I know. Decisions, eh? This is how it goes in my craft room. Things are not always smooth. Yes, you do, Valerie. Remember, I'm your enabler. Okay, that's better. I like seeing more of that flower down there. Okay, so now we're going to take this. We're going to put this over top. Put the point. Before we do that, let's measure where the center is. So this is 2 inches. So the center is going to be right there. Now, are you guys seeing that? Probably not. Okay, so I just measured it on my grid paper and marked the center with a pencil so that I can erase it if I have to. Okay, so now this is going to go so that it's right there. Make sure this is centered and straight. Straight is really, really important. Now, you see what's happening up here? If I just put my plate on top and ran that through, we'd have these corners cut off, and I don't want that. So I'm going to put it into the machine, and I'm going to put this plate right there so that it only cuts the bottom. Now we did this yesterday, I believe. Was it yesterday? Or was it on my Zoom? I can't remember when the last time was I did that. But if you don't have the plate on the rest of it, there's no pressure on here to cut, so it will only cut the bottom. Look at that. It's so cool. All right. It doesn't take much to amuse me, apparently. Oops, lost my... Oh, you have to try this, Val. It is so cool. Okay, so now that's going to go on there like that. I'm just going to put a little bit of temporary adhesive on the back of it because I don't want to glue it down till I get all the rest of the stuff done up for it. So we can do our layout. Okay, so that's that. Now, Stampin'. I'm going to stamp in soft suede. Going to stamp 3, and I think I'll stamp 4 just in case I mess one up, then I still have another one to do. 1. See how it's variegated? I love that. That is just, looks so fun to me. It looks kind of vintagey. And it was all done in error. It was done by accident. Oh, okay. So now we need to get our inks out. Let me get things cleaned up here. So we're going to need soft suede. And we need some pear pizzazz. And I've already squished them. And to get the ink onto the lid, you just take it and squish it like this between your hands. Remember that old I must increase my bust thing we used to do when we were kids? That's what you need to do. And some Rococo Rose. And my poor Rococo Rose pad is completely destroyed. And I have to order another one because it cracked here. And now it's being obstinate when it comes time to open it. Okay. So... yeah, it was... okay, just making sure that I'm in the frame so you guys can kind of watch what I'm doing. Okay, so this is an aqua painter, or an aqua pen, and I put rubbing alcohol into it. I put 70% rubbing alcohol in, and it works like water, but it's not wet and runny like water, so it kind of has a little bit... it's, I don't know... well, it's a pen, or it's not water. I'm just shutting the sound off on my computer because I forgot to do that and things are bopping around. So it doesn't run like water. You do the same way though. Just make sure your tip is wet but not drippy. Pick a little bit of ink up and then just and refill it as you want. If you want your flowers to be a little, or your petals, these are leaves, but if you want them to be darker, don't put more ink on. If you want them to be lighter, then don't put as much ink on. But you see, you can go back afterwards and just play with it a bit. See that? I'm going to pick up a bit of soft suede and just do, oops, a little bit more. Just going to do the stem while I'm at it. Look at that. Cool. All right. So now we'll just finish off. It doesn't take too long to do this either because it's quite quick. Just make sure that you paint the leaves and not the flower petals. Yeah, you guys only saw the 5 that I saved. You didn't see the ones I had to throw away. Are you thick or regular? This is regular, but you can use thick if you want. I tend to use my thick for card bases and stuff, and then sometimes for things that are going to be sticking out of cards, like if I'm doing, when I did my, what did we do yesterday? It was whatever card I was working on yesterday. Oh, I know, it was the Star Easel card when we did that. The stamped image stuck up over top of where the edge of the card was. And I used the thick for that because then it had more, it was less likely to bend. Now I'm just going back with more ink and putting a little bit of shadowy darker ink right at the base of the leaves. I could play like this for hours. I love coloring, and especially since I found out this technique. This is, I think, next to alcohol blenders, our Stampin' Blends, I think this is my favorite technique because, number one, it doesn't ruin your cardstock. Dries really fast, and you can kind of play with it a bit. Okay, so that's it for Pear Pizzazz. Let's finish off the stems, and I can put that one away. There, now I'm just going to go back with a little bit of dark and just do right up near the flower because that's where the shadow would be. Okay, now Rococo Rose. Rococo Rose. Oh, Lisa, I did a Zoom class yesterday and made a Star Easel card. Hang on, I'll find it. So this is it deflated. So it fits together like this. So that's the Star Easel card. And this is the part I was talking about that stuck up above where the card was. So I did that on thick Whisper White so that it had less of a tendency to flop over. Okay. Make sure my tip is wet. And we're going to start coloring. And I'm just starting at the center of the flower and working my way out. And when I color these magnolias, I like to leave a lot of white space, which in this case is vanilla. But you see how that, look at that. Because in my world, my experience with magnolias is that they don't have color everywhere. They just have it in the centers. Now I could be wrong. There we go. See that it doesn't take long to color this. The hardest part is staying in the lines. Thanks, Lena. this is so fun. So my class yesterday was a Zoom class, and we made the cards together. I have another couple of Zoomies coming up. We're going to do class next week. Information on it is in the events section, I believe. I hope I added it there. There is a pinned post at the top of my Facebook page that has all the information on my upcoming Zoom classes. We're going to play with Grace's Garden. I think it's Thursday. I spent a lot of time on Facebook Lives and Zoom since this self-isolation started happening. And I don't think I've talked as much in my life as I did yesterday. Because of course everybody is trying to figure out how to do things. Oh, Carol, nice. Yeah, I love magnolias. And of course, part of it is because that's the first flower that comes out in the spring right after the forsythia. Forsythia is out right now in my world. Nice, bright, sunshiny flowers everywhere. And then the magnolia buds are huge. That's a funny thing. So between us and my neighbor is a garden. And we kind of share it. It's not a kept garden. It's more like an English garden where there's riots of color and stuff. And it doesn't take a lot of looking after. But a couple of years ago, I said to my neighbor, I think I'm going to get a magnolia or a tulip tree or something to go in here. We need some spring color. So she thought it was a good idea. So I started looking. Before I could find one, she comes to me and she said, I got one. I said, you got one what? I found a magnolia tree. I said, oh, that's awesome. It's white. Doesn't have a speck of color on it. And I wanted a pink one. But now I don't have any room to put it because she took the spot. Oh well. Oh, nice. Camellias. Yes, they're another favorite. Okay, so there we are. Now we have to cut them out. And no fussy cutting required. Just stick the dies on and carry on with life. Well, put the dies on, pray that you do it right, and then carry on with life. Now I'm going to get just a little bit of washi tape because I know one of them is going to cut crooked. Because it always happens when I'm trying to do a class or show somebody how to do something. And I think they turned out really pretty. Okay, there's one. I'm really happy with the choice of soft suede and rubbing alcohol. That really worked. It's softer than using Memento, but you don't have all that mess of watercoloring. When you have OCD, watercoloring is not the best option in the world. See, it's moving. Okay, so let's move the paper to where it goes. No use fighting these things. They have a mind of their own. So that's number 3. And there's one more to go. So I'm just going to flip my plate over. It's getting a wow in it. As you notice, I still haven't replaced my cutting plates. They still work. I can't throw them away. They still work. There we have our 4 buds done. Put the die away so I don't lose it. Let's bring our card back in. And these are going to fit on here, something like this. And then there's going to be a sentiment there and then some leaves. So we need to die cut some leaves. She said cut 2 big ones and 2 little ones. So Stampin' Up has very kindly included 2 big leaf dies and 2 little leaf dies. Look at that. So I'll run those through and I usually try to do things in odd numbers instead of even ones. So we'll see what this turns out like. We may have to die cut another one. One stuck to the plate. There we go. My take your pick tool. Get rid of the pieces in there. Come on, out. Thank you. This is the one that popped itself out, so the little pieces are still in there. There we go. Let's get rid of that. Put this to the side till we figure out if we need more or not. Put them on there so I don't lose them. And now let's do a sentiment. Now hers, she did it with right on a piece of Rococo Rose and then matted it with soft suede. I don't want Rococo Rose. I want it to go on vanilla in soft suede. What do you think? I think that's a good choice. Hang on, somebody's trying to get a hold of me. Okay, pull up the card. There we go. You're right, Carol. It opens up so much more. You're right, it does. Okay. Thinking of You. This is from the same stamp set. Because I remembered this morning that I have 3 sympathy cards I have to send out. I hate sending out sympathy cards, so I send out Thinking of You cards instead. Alright, just trying to get dies. So that's the right one for that. So that one came from here. So that was number 3. I need number 4 to cut the soft suede. So let's get those 2 cut. I saw this rubbing alcohol technique somewhere in January, and I've used it a lot since then. Well, not a lot. I've used it since then. I used it with the By the Dock bundle. I colored the boat and the dock using that. Oh my goodness, did it turn out nice. I'd show you, but it's way down the other end of the house in my studio still. I have started cleaning all of the celebration stuff out of my studio. But I have no motivation to fill my motivation walls because nobody's going to see it for a while. They said it's going to be like this for till July. Okay, so there's the soft suede piece. And here's the sentiment in very vanilla. Now, you can see that it's not even. The amount of border on the sides is more than the amount on the top and the bottom. That really bugs me. My OCD-ness comes out. So I do this, get it lined up, and I just put a piece of temporary adhesive on the back there. Make sure it's straight. Now I'm going to go in with the same die and cut it again. I am. Remember that technique of shortening that we did a while ago, where it shorten, you can shorten a die? That was yesterday. When we did the card yesterday, we shortened a die. So you put it back in and wiggle it till it sits down inside those stitchy marks. Now, I'm going to take this out. I'm going to die cut that again. Now you don't have to do this step. This step is only because I'm OCD. There we go. Now, you're probably saying, but that's ugly on there on the side. You're right, it is. Because I put the cutting plate over top of the whole thing. And I should have only done part of it like we did the stitching on the bottom of this piece. So I'm going to do another one. Put this back on here again, just like we did before. See, things don't always go smooth. Not that one. Where did I put it? Oh, it's right here. Aha! Good morning, sunshine. Okay, there we are. I'm just going to pull this up. Now, we're going to do the same thing. I'm just going to put my plate on there so it just cuts that bottom. I don't want it cutting the rest of it. Because then you get the stitch marks going all the way past the edge. Okay. Much, much better. So now when I put this on here, see, it fits better. Whereas this one, no, I cut it down, so I can't even show you. Okay, I'm going back to creating instead of talking now. I'm going to stick some tear and tape on this so I can put it on the soft suede piece. And then we can start putting this baby together. Thanks, Val. Yeah, I know. Sometimes the brain doesn't work. Or I think something's going to work and then it doesn't work. There we are. Knock on wood, so far have not had to use the undo. So if you're looking for these videos after I'm done here. I'm usually upload them to YouTube. I haven't done this week's yet, but I will. Oh. Okay. I said oh because I have to have room to slide the flowers under. Okay, so this is going to go somewhere around here. Maybe it's a little bit further over so that it's not, everything is not centered, just to give it a little bit of interest. And then one flower is going to slide in there, and one flower slides in there. Pull that one out a little bit more. And then this one's going to go down here. And then we're going to tuck some leaves in behind. A little one and a big one. And a little one. Or a big one. And maybe the little one out through here. There. I think it needs another leaf. It just does another small leaf just to tuck in there. It doesn't compute for me. I'm going to cut one and then we'll see. What do you think? 4 leaves or 5 leaves? Give me your crafty opinion. Oh, come on. Okay, so there's 4 leaves and there's 5 leaves. Huh, interesting. Okay, so I'm just going to take this off of here. Put a little bit of tear and tape. Now I'm only going to tape the bottoms of these flowers down. I want them to be curly. Put that back there so I know where to put this. 8. Want to make sure I'm not out past the edge of my edge of the card, and I'm also putting the leaves on first before I put it on there. Okay, a little tiny bit of tape right there for the leaves to stick to. Just removing the backing, I'm hoping. I'm just going to tuck that leaf in there. Come on. You need to turn. I want you to be turned. There we are. Now I think that'll go right there. Up a little tiny bit. Okay. Too much tape. Too much tape. To cut some off. And the leaf's going to go on this side. And some tear and tape, and then the leaves go on that side. I made this one a little bit too long too, but I'm just going to fold it back. Like that. And put a little bit of tape on this side to attach the leaves. 5 leaves, 5 leaves, 5 leaves. Yep, I agree. 5 leaves it is. It doesn't look right when there's an odd number. Isn't that odd? Okay. I'll remove the... This is going to need some more tear and tape on it because it's now covered by the leaves. And see, by only putting tape on the bottom, it leaves the top free to float. You could also just lift it up and put a dimensional behind there too to give it height. All right, sentiment back. So I know where to put these. Put that right there. This one we're going to just slide under here. And this one to slide under here. Like that. There we are. Make sure they're down good. Now, these are in the wrong spot because this one is going to stick out past that edge and I don't want it to be pulled down, and this one's going to be over top of those, so I don't want it to be curved up. So I'll just move them in a bit. There we are. Make sure I don't go past the edge there. Ta-da! What do you think? Think that's sticking up too much? Maybe I should put a dimensional in back there to hold that down. When you do the aqua painter with rubbing alcohol in it, it does tend to curl the cardstock a little bit. There, that's better. Now I'm going to do the same one to here. Same to there. Same one. I'm going to do the same thing to there. And that'll just hold that down. You know what? Haven't put this down yet. Remember, I had it down temporarily. Now that dimensional's under there. There we are. So now we'll put tape on this. I put it down. How funny is that? Thanks, Lena. Thanks, Val. I absolutely loved this card when I saw it. There's something about brown and pink, too, that really goes well together. Come on. So I will be back on Monday. We'll be creating something else. Don't know what yet. I'll find something to do. Okay, so this goes right up to the top. Make sure that these don't poke out past the edge of the card. Now where did that other tail go? It's hiding. There we are. Isn't that the most gorgeous thing you've ever seen? Well, one of the most gorgeous things you've ever seen. Let's add some Wink of Stella, but I want to do it on this other one that I have here, because I don't want it to take away from the flowers. I just want it to add. Oh yes. Yep. I'm not going to do the whole thing. I'm just going to do some flicks on each petal, just so it adds just a little bit of bling. Can you guys see the bling on there? Look at how pretty. Oh, oh my. I might have to make some more of these cards. Make them all the cards that I need to send out. This is not in the right spot. That's bugging me. This big one. I'm going to try and get it out from underneath there. It needs to be turned a bit. That one needs to do that, and this one needs to go in a bit more. Apparently I'm going to have to put a dot on there too. Oh, that's better. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, where's my dimensionals? Because now I've ruined that flower and it sticks up too much. Get off my finger. So what is the most used tool in your craft room? What do you keep right at your side when you're crafting? Your scissors? Your pokey tool? Okay, now do we have pearls? Pink pearls. We need pink pearls. There's the pearls. I get my dark Rococo Rose. How awesome is it that we have lots of blends that match our colors? So when I want to have a Rococo Rose pearl, I can have one or three. Uh-oh. I heard that one hit the floor. Apparently I was pushing too hard. And I'm going to walk around in my craft room and it's going to end up on the bottom of my slipper. Tweezers. Oh, hi, Dawn. Yes, tweezers, tweezers, tweezers. That's what I use my scissors for. I use my scissors as tweezers. I know, crazy, but then they're multi-purpose things. Okay, now we're going to put pearls. One here. And one here. And it just cries for one right there. Yes. How do you like that placement? And I think 3's enough. I don't think we need to add any more. I haven't pushed them down yet. Still thinking. Okay, that's where they're going. Pushing them down. There. They're gerstucken, as my grandchildren say. They are gerstucken. Now, we have to do something about the inside. And I'm going to use this one because it's already done. But you could always stamp another one and put the bling has to happen on this one too. Ooh, doggy. Thanks, Valerie. So, can you guys see the Wink Estella on there? If I hold it like that, can you see how pretty it is? Alright, now some tear and tape on there. And then I'm going to put a little dab of glue of Tombow on the stem so it doesn't catch and pull up. I haven't used Tombow today. This is another thing that never leaves my side. Where's my Tombow? Oh, this is screaming for shading around the outside of it. Oh, my Rococo Rose again. Okay. First thing on my order list for my next order is a new Rococo Rose ink pad. Once you get it open, it works really well. It's just getting it open is difficult. Okay, I don't usually sponge like this. My customers know that that's not me, but this card needs it. And do you know when you're sponging that the further up this way you hold your sponge, the less ink goes in. So that just gives it a little tiny, tiny, tiny amount. But then the further this way you go, the more you get around the edges. There we go. Hey, I'll put this. Oh, let's put this on first because then we can have that hanging off the edge because there's that little bit extra of the card base that sticks out past the edge of the inside. Alrighty. So you guys got big plans for the day? You're going to go out? Going to go out to your kitchen? Going to go out? Ted said he was going out for lunch. Going to go eating his lunch in the trailer. What a dude. He has his craft room too. He's got a huge shop out there. I have no idea what he does out there. He has a TV. He has a coffee pot. He has a fridge. He used to have lots of visitors, but of course that's not happening right now. But he's out there, keeping himself occupied. Oh, that one ripped a bit. Yep. There's one little spot here that the liner didn't come out. There we are. Now we can put this and see I can kind of do it off of the cardstock. As long as I keep it within the parameters of the card. There we are. Voila! A magnificent card. Those are still bugging me. I do this. I get a card all done and then I think, no, I don't like that. And then I have to move things. There, success. I got them both up. They need to be in further. And they're not going to be because I can't get them in there. So you know what? You hack it off. And then you put it in. Nothing says you can't hack them off. Maybe the big one needs to go under the flower. And the little one needs to go out to the side. I know you're thinking, oh my God, she's done. Why is she fiddling around? Because I don't like it. Put some tape on there. This is not tear and tape. This is tape that I can use and it's not going to stick. I'm going to be able to move things around a bit. Okay. Maybe it's because that the leaf is curved the wrong way. Maybe that's what it is. Okay, that's where it's staying. Oh, cinnamon buns. Oh, yummy doodle. I have to finish my prep for my club. My club is happening virtually next week. And I got to get the kits all ready so the ladies can craft along with me. So there we go. What do you think? Pretty? Thank you very much to Eva Dobilas. I don't know. Dobilas is how you pronounce, how you spell her name. Well, thanks, ladies. It's been fun. I enjoy this. I might have to do more of this creating on the fly thing. If you'd like to see yesterday's video on the card we did yesterday, we used Under My Umbrella and did a fancy fold. It's on yesterday's post. And I'm going to work this weekend on getting all my files all my videos uploaded to my YouTube channel. So just go to YouTube and search for Glenda Mollet, and you'll see all of my videos on there. So, thanks so much, everybody. I love having you in my craft room with me. I appreciate you taking time out of your day to join me. Have a wonderful weekend. Stampin' Smiles and bye for now.